Really, there's not much of any injuries to announce for you. I think you saw where Clyde dressed out, didn't play. He didn't practice this week, and I just felt like he lost some weight with the stomach virus, and I'd pulled him back out. The other guys did a nice job of filling in for him. Tyron, I just saw Tyron did a beautiful job on starting the game and finishing the game with 2 interceptions, and that kind of led the way. That was great enthusiasm for the defense. I thought our defense, played a good game and really rallied towards the end of it in particular. And then Bucker, I thought was stand out with his 5 field goals there. So he did a nice job. And then offensively, again, Kels and Pat and that connection there did a nice job. Tyreek had a couple touchdowns. I'll take blame for the one that I've never had a receiver that didn't know he caught the ball. So, I mean, he came off and said he didn't catch it. And I probably should have hung on to that just a little bit longer to look at the replay. But I've been doing this a couple of years. I've never had that situation. So it was a new experience for me. I'll try to do better. Try to do better the next time with it. But what a heck of a job by him. He had 2 touchdowns taken back and away from him. So, but my echoes out to the Broncos. They came in and played a nice game. Vic had a great game plan for both sides of the ball and his special teams group. And, he's great for this division, man. I mean, he's a heck of a football coach, and they just keep getting better and better. And that young quarterback of theirs, Locke, local kid, man, he keeps getting better. So it's great competition, and I'm glad we came out on top today. So we'll go back and get ourselves cleaned up with a couple things and get ready for the Dolphins. Anyways, with that, time yours.
Go first to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the touchdown that Tyreek Hill had that you didn't call or challenge. How soon do you rely on the folks upstairs to ping you and say, hey, that was a score for you to go ahead and challenge?
Yeah, they were on it right when they saw it, and that was right when we were punting the ball. So, I mean, it was a bang bang thing, and we didn't have time to really look at it before we kicked the ball. So we kicked it with about 10 seconds left, and normally that's kind of where you let it go down to, right in that area, and go with it. But I checked with with Tyreek. He came off, and you can normally tell with a receiver if he knew he had it or not, and especially Tyreek. I mean, so he was as surprised as any of us that he ended up with the football.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. I know you have bigger goals here, but you did clinch a playoff spot tonight. I was just wondering whether you'll take a minute to appreciate that. And Brad, I'll have one quick follow-up.
Yeah, listen, I'm proud of the guys and the coaches. So I thought the coaches had a good game plan. We finished it up when everything wasn't going right. So in years past, maybe you don't win that game. And I appreciate the intensity and the championship attitude that these guys showed today and demonstrated. So and the desire to win the game. And then listen, to win or to be in the playoffs, that's a great thing. And you're right, and we do have work to do here. So we didn't talk at all about it in the locker room about the playoffs. We just talked about getting ourselves ready for next week and be ready to go down to Miami and play them.
All right, and I know you also had some positive tests overnight, and I was wondering if you could take us through that situation and whether there was a time maybe you thought this thing was all unraveling on you.
Well, I mean, when they talk to you early in the morning like that, I mean, it's you're not sure what's real and not real. I knew they had been having some problems with the computer system from last night, but we also, we thought we were clean with all that, and then it came back this morning where we weren't clean. So I figured maybe there was a glitch there, and they were great with us. I mean, they said, let's just give us an hour or so and let's just work through this thing. And see if we can't get it right. And it all came back, where we were okay.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, a lot of fans expected this to be a blowout, right? But I know you like to see how you guys respond in these situations. You touched on this a little bit just in that answer to Adam, but what did you see on both sides of the ball in terms of just effort, competitiveness, and that kind of thing with, in a game this close?
Yeah, so listen, frustration can set in on those, coaches and players. And I didn't sense that as we went. They just wanted to get it right. And they knew we were close on so many different occasions. So everybody just kind of bared down and went to it and reached a little deeper. And instead of complaining, they just reached a little deeper and tried to find an answer. And so you do that with this crew, normally it's going to work for you. And I thought it was just a matter of time before we got ourselves in the end zone. I didn't do a very good job in the red zone, giving the guys opportunities to get themselves in. And so I'll go back, I'll work on that part, and we'll make sure that we put these guys in a good position to make some plays down in there, whether it's a run game or the pass game.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, congrats on the win and game plan tonight. Travis Kelce became the first tight end to have 5 straight years of 1,000 yards. I know you're not a huge numbers guy, but no other tight end has ever had 3. What have you seen from him to enable him to be consistent, especially at the ages of 29, 30, and now 31?
Yeah, well, there've been a couple of great tight ends that have played in this game. We're talking about all time. So I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. And listen, nobody enjoys the game or works harder than Kels does. So it's great to see this happen to him. And he loves playing. He loves playing the game. So, and those kind of guys you love to coach, and we're blessed to have a few of those that love the game. So, but I'm proud of Kels for the time and effort that he puts in. He and the quarterback have a great relationship, and that's important to get these type of things done. And every quarterback needs a go-to guy, and our quarterback's fortunate to have a couple guys around him, but 87's a big one there for him.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. I know you'll probably want to see the film to be able to give a more complete answer on this, but the Broncos were more successful against you guys than most teams on those third down situations. And also you mentioned the red zone as well. Were you seeing, is it just the way they mix stuff, or were you seeing similar stuff to what you saw in that first matchup against them?
Yeah, listen, it was similar. I mean, those son of a guns got us in the first one, and we didn't do all that great the second one. So the thing you got to do is you got to narrow down the third down shots there. So, get the distance cut down and do a little better on first, second down. So, that's where we've got to improve that. And then against them with the pass rush that they have, that's where you got to be.
We'll go last to Blair.
Let me just add one thing, because I thought Sammy and McColl did a nice job along with Tyreek and D-Rob also contributed, which I think was important to mention. Sammy, was battling that hamstring, and he started to come back from that, and he had a couple big catches for us down the stretch. Anyways, go ahead.
Go last to Blair Kirkhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Yeah, Andy, one of those big catches was on the final series for your offense. And this is 2 weeks in a row you've played against really good defenses, and you've had to basically try to run out the clock at the end. Can you speak to this team's ability to do that and that crazy catch throw that Mahomes had to make to Sammy?
Yeah, well, it was great. I mean, he did a nice job. Pat had some nice throws down the stretch, which he's had. He's a great player. And, he almost made one that last one. We didn't get the edge sealed enough for him, and he was still able to get it off and get the ball out. So, you guys are watching it just like I'm watching it. It's he does some amazing things. So, and most of all, just battling through. It's very easy to get frustrated, and he battles through, and good things happen to him. And it was good. It was great to see our D line get the quarterback's feet moving too on the other side. That all those things, all the good things don't happen without those big guys. So, both sides of the ball.
All right, let's start with Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Help me, man.
Hey, Patrick, kind of a weird play there with Tyreek on that touchdown in the first quarter. At what point did you realize that he had actually caught that ball, and how'd you find out?
I didn't realize until after they showed the replay and we'd already punted. I told Tyreek in the locker room, I said, man, you're so good at receiver. You don't even know when you catch touchdowns these days.
Go next to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Patrick, congratulations on the victory. Nice shirt, by the way. When it comes to Travis Kelce, his 5th year with over 1,000 yards receiving, you've obviously been there for 4 of those. Just talk to being a great teammate that he is, and then just how reliable he is on the field, how you've been able to just go to him with another 100-yard receiving day to day.
Yeah, I think you said it with a great teammate. I mean, he really doesn't care how you win the football game. He just wants to win. He's going to compete every single play. He's going to block. He's going to catch. He's going to run after the catch. He's going to do whatever it takes. And so when you have guys like that are that talented and they don't care about who gets the success, then you have the guys that really can go out there, execute, and win football games with.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Patrick, congratulations on the win. I want to talk to you about the touchdown play to Kelce. It was a free play, and I was wondering if that changed and maybe made you take, I wouldn't say a chance, but, made you step up and throw it a little bit maybe further than you would have. And then why has that become such a knack for you, enabling yourself to get these free plays?
Well, it didn't really change. It was I can't believe it might have been second or third down, whatever it was. But he I don't want to give away my reads, but he's one of my first reads, kind of an alert that kind of look at kind of how he releases out of that bunch. And obviously he got open, and I gave him a chance to make a play, and I was able to throw it just far enough. But for me, I try to use cadence as much as possible. I mean, quick cadence, hard counts, whatever it is, just to get an advantage in any single way. And the offensive line does a great job of sitting in there, really paying attention, and we work on it throughout the week.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Pat, when you scramble outside and you throw a unconventional pass, just how much of an advantage do you think that gives your teammates who are still working for being open in the middle of the field? And how successful do you think that's been for you now year 3 compared to when you first started doing it, when you first started playing in the NFL?
Yeah, it's something that the guys do a great job of working for me. I think that's a big thing. I mean, I can scramble and throw it however I want. If the guys aren't open, then the plays won't work. And so you see these guys that they continue to play the play out, and they play until the whistle is blown, and then they get back and do the same thing the next play. And so it helps out a lot that those guys do that, because there's some plays that I scramble for a long time and they don't get the ball. And so they have to make sure that they're playing every single play with the expectation that they're going to get the ball thrown their way, and they do that.
Let's go next to Blair Kirkhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Hey, Patrick, could you speak to this team's ability and confidence to get the ball late with a small lead and keep the ball? It worked last week in Tampa, and today you got the field goal out of it.
Yeah, I think we're just battle tested. I mean, we've played in a lot of tight football games, and we have to find ways to win. Obviously, we didn't play the way we wanted to as far as in the red zone of executing and scoring touchdowns instead of field goals. But in this league, you have to find a way to win. Every single team is going to bring their best shot and going to have a chance to beat you. And as long as you come out with the win in the end, it doesn't have to be pretty. And I thought the guys did a great job of battling today and finding a way.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, you guys clinched a playoff spot today, and I know you have bigger goals than that, but just wondering whether that's something you're going to take a minute to appreciate, or are you just going to move on to Miami and start getting ready for that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big deal. You want to kind of your first step, you want to find a way to get in the playoffs. But like you said, we have bigger goals. We understand it's a step-by-step process. We have a great football team we're playing this next week that's playing really good football, and we're going to have to go down there and have a great battle with them. And so we're excited for the opportunity of taking it day by day and finding a way to keep winning football games.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick. So you guys got so close to the end zone there 4 different times, and Harrison got field goals each time. How good did it feel to finally get that touchdown to Travis late?
Yeah, it felt good just because when you move the ball like that and you don't score touchdowns, that's how you you keep games tight. And we got to do a better job of that. The last 2 weeks, we haven't found a way in the red zone to score touchdowns, and we've been good at that all year long. And so you want to make sure that you find a way, especially going into the late part of the season and into the playoffs, of scoring when you get those opportunities, because that's what changes games.
Got time for a couple more guys. We'll go Todd and then Vahe. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Patrick, there was a report out there that there was some positive tests that came to light, I guess, overnight, and the game was maybe in somewhat of jeopardy. Did you hear anything about that? Were you aware of that? And is it, does it let you kind of know how close these things can be to be happening or not happening just hours before a game?
Yeah, I mean, I found out in the morning. I got my sleep in, and so they didn't wake me up or anything like that. But I mean, obviously, we're in difficult times right now. I mean, as far as the league and as far as the world, and you have to kind of take the challenge every single day of just waking up and expect the unexpected. And we understand where we're at, and we have to make sure that we accept that challenge every single day, battle through adversity, and whenever we get a chance to be on this football field, just appreciate it as much as possible and play to the best of our ability and try to win football games.
Go last to Vahe Gregorian. Good, Vahe.
Hey, Patrick. You guys have had now, I guess, 4 straight games that have been down to 1 score, and I guess in some ways you could say that reveals that you guys, people can compete with you guys. But I think it must make you feel like you guys have a certain kind of fortitude or mettle. What's that doing for you guys to win these close games?
Yeah, I think it builds up that confidence that you can win games different ways. I mean, if you look at how we've played the last few games, we've won in every single way possible, it seems like. And the defense stepped up today and kept us in the game whenever we were having lulls, and then we found a way to keep battling. And I think that's the biggest thing is in this league, you have to find a way. Not everything's going to be easy. We're not going to be able to throw 70-yard touchdowns to Tyreek every single play. I mean, hopefully just a few of them. But we're going to go out there and battle and find a way to do whatever we can to just have more points than the other team at the end of the game.
Hey, Tyron, it seemed like you, a lot of the guys, even the coaches, were a little bit frustrated after last week's game. Was there anything that you guys talked about coming into this week to maybe try to make a little bit more focus and to get the effort that you guys had tonight?
Well, I think, obviously, anytime you're playing, against NFL teams, you want to, put your best foot forward. Especially in the Tampa Bay game, I don't feel like, we really ended that game, how we necessarily started the game. Even tonight, feel like it was a lot of things that we could clean up, especially on first, second down. They really was in a lot of third and manageable downs. They started to run the ball, get away from their tendencies that we saw on film. And so we just got to continue to adjust. But nevertheless, anytime you're playing a divisional team, it's always going to be tough. And I think at the end of the day, if we can keep teams under, 17 points, 20 points, I think we'll always have a good chance to win the game.
Next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Tyron, congrats on the win. Anthony Hitchens shared with us in early November that y'all's goal is to hold the opposing team to 17 points. And it's, there were some rough weeks after that. How good did it feel to hit that goal, and how can you build off that for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it feels good, especially when you win the game. But like I just mentioned, didn't really feel like we played well on first and second down, even third down. Didn't think we feel like we could have got off the field a lot more. And so, we'll get back in the lab. We'll focus on that. But nevertheless, I thought we showed some character tonight, just playing all 4 quarters, showing up to play football, and not taking this opponent, lightly.
Go next to Matt McMullen. Good, Matt.
Hey, Tyron. So I believe this is your second multi-interception games. How'd it feel to get your hands on the balls tonight?
Oh, it's cool. Just, trying to focus on just catching them, I let so many slip through my fingers last year. So it's all about just looking the ball in, catching them. But I think anytime you have the opportunity to make a play, you just want to make it for your team.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Tyron, you referenced just a couple of answers ago about the character that you saw in the team. You guys have been known for blowouts, right? But what do you see in these closer games? What do you feel on the sideline when you got interactions with your teammates and all that in these closer games?
Well, I feel like we're built for it. Obviously I think we're built to, beat teams by 3 scores too. But I think when we get in these tight games, I think we're comfortable. I think we understand what we have to do to kind of pull ourselves through. I think our coaches do a great job too, of just staying even keel, staying balanced, not being too high, too low, and, just continuing to kind of push that encouragement into us. And, it's been paying off for us. And so, obviously, playing in December, you want to play your best ball. So that's really the only thing that we're focusing on right now is how can we show up and be the best, versions of ourselves.
Looks like we've got 3 more. We'll go right down the line, starting with Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Tyron, on your 2 interceptions, what did you see there that gave you sort of an indication of where Drew may go with the football? And just what does it say about, kind of being down on yourself 2 weeks ago when you maybe had some opportunities to make plays in the open field and then obviously coming and responding tonight?
Yeah, I think, obviously, when you get to the end of the game, end of the football game, most teams are going to run their favorite route concepts. I think for me, just studying a lot of film, I just kind of feel it. And so I was able to kind of, get underneath Judy on one of the plays. And, it's such a long season. I think it's really important to take it week by week. And I think it's even more important to, be hard on yourself. Obviously that there's critics out here and there's people that's going to say stuff, but I think, for me, no one is more critical of themselves than I am. And so it's all about me holding myself accountable and, just realizing that, not only can we all play better, but me personally, I can play a whole lot better.
The last two, Adam and then Vahe. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Tyron, you clinched the playoff spot tonight. I know you have bigger goals than that, but do you take a minute to appreciate that, or do you feel like it's time to move on to Miami and that's not really a goal that you have?
To be honest, I didn't know that. We're just trying to win every game, but I think anytime, obviously we're grateful, very fortunate. I think anytime you're able to win 10 plus games in this league, I think is always a beautiful thing. And anytime you're able to kind of control your own destiny, I think that's special. So for us, it's all about believing in that, believing in our coaches, and then just trying to find a way to turn a page, each and every week, and find a way to get better.
We'll ask to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Tyron, this is a little similar to Sam's question, but with each one of these wins by 3 points or 2 points or 6 points, does that make you stronger? I mean, each one of these things, does it do something for you in particular?
Yeah, I truly believe so. Not only does it build character, it builds trust too, and you may not play your best game, but, if you're able to win the game and you go into that week realizing that, wow, we actually trusted each other. We actually committed to each other. And, that's the reason why we won the game. So, I think for us is, obviously we want to play well and dominate, but, when we get in these tough spots and these critical spots, it's all about leaning on each other. It's all about the offense and the defense and the special teams. All of us are together, and as long as we can kind of keep that, I think we'll always be, a tough team to beat.
I know you're not really into stats and all that, but you became the first tight end ever to have a 1,000-yard receiving season. Is that at all meaningful to you in light of what else is going on right now?
I mean, it's something cool to, I guess, hang your hat on when the career is over. I would assume right now I'm just focused on, the task at hand, trying to win football games, and gonna enjoy this one for a night with the family, and then from there just focus on Miami. But all that stuff, I mean, this game is, I'm not the same without 10 other guys on that football field playing their tail off to move the ball down the field. And I'm a firm believer that individual accolades are a bit overrated in this game. I'm just appreciative of being here in Kansas City and having the consistency that we've had over the past few years, and just very fortunate to be here.
Let's go next to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Travis, congratulations on the win tonight. Couple of questions. When the offense stalls and you all end up having to kick a field goal, I know the accuracy of Butker is something good to rely on, but how frustrating is it offensively that you all can't get the ball into the end zone? And then kind of following up as it relates to you all clinching the playoffs. I know you've made the playoffs the last 5 years here with Kansas City, but does the team deem success as just winning the Super Bowl now that you all have gotten that taste, or does qualifying and making the playoffs, is successful in you all's eyes?
I mean, the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, we have goals within that. Winning the division is one of them. Trying to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs is another, and then reaching the Super Bowl is obviously another. So it's just trying to take it game by game. You can't look too far ahead. Knowing that, we still have a lot of work to do. I know I said shout out to the Raiders, but shout out to the Broncos for playing a very good defense. I mean, it is what it is. They stuffed us in the red zone, and the past 2 times that we've played them, we struggled on third downs, and accepting that challenge every single week and trying to become a better football team because of it is just the mentality that we have. So moving on to Miami next week, and we'll roll from there.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Travis, congrats on the win. I was curious when it comes to Patrick and these free plays, when you see those flags are thrown, is there a sense among you and the receivers and the other tight ends that, okay, this is on, we may be able to do something big here?
In a sense, it also depends on what play is being called. I mean, there's typically one, maybe two home run shots if we get somebody to jump off sides on a deep pass. But at the same time, if we don't have a deep pass, there's a little bit of wiggle room to try and make a play happen. But playing within the system, Coach Reed and the offensive staff, EB have done an unbelievable job of creating a structure around that and making it easier to basically communicate on the field while we're playing instinctually to be in the right places. Another time was on the third down where the play kind of broke down and I had a drop. Knowing that getting around that back or that ball is going to be right there, we're still developing as a team, and I am as a person and as a player. So it's just learning from your last mistake and trying not to make it again, and we just go from there.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Travis. So this is nothing new, but Patrick made some great throws tonight, contorting his body in different arm angles. As a pass catcher, how much fun is that when the play is truly never dead because he's always going to find a way to get the ball out?
It's you always got a chance, and I'm not just saying always got a chance to win the game, but you always have a chance throughout the play. And even if they got us, they sniffed out a certain play that we were running. At the end of the day, Pat has the ability to make it work, and I mean it's such a blessing to have that guy back there slinging it around, man, because he takes the ultimate pride in his craft and how he plays the game, and you can always count on him.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Brad, I'll have a quick follow-up to this. But Travis, the play with Tyreek, at what point on the sideline did you realize that he had actually caught that ball? And what was your reaction to that?
The play with Tyreek, man, I feel like there were a few of them.
He caught the touchdown in the first quarter, but you guys weren't able to review it in time. Did you not see that?
Oh, yeah, no, that was unbelievable. Yeah, no, I forgot about that play. Golly, it was I mean, what an amazing catch, right? And to be on the same page as your quarterback, knowing it's cover zero, and he put the ball right where it needed to be, and have a guy like Tyreek Hill. I mean, the most deadliest weapon that I've ever seen play this game, and I stand behind that every single week. He's good for big plays throughout the entire game, and you have to account for that. And that obviously makes my job and everybody else's job on the field easier. But yeah, I wish we would have had an extra tick to throw a red flag or try and challenge that, because that guy's unbelievable, man.
And the second one, you touched on this very briefly, but the Broncos twice now were pretty successful against you guys on third downs. What were you seeing from them?
Just them playing hard. I mean, I feel like I don't want to say it was self-inflicted. I give props when props are due, and I mean the Broncos played their tails off, and then in terms of third down and in the red zone, they might have had us a little bit there, but we had a few batted balls, and then just being on the same page as Pat on a few other third downs. But we'll go ahead and look at the film, obviously, and figure everything out, find out where the mistakes are, and try and clean that up.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Matt Derrick and then Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Travis, you clearly statistically over the last few games, you're playing one of the best streaks of your career. Curious if you think right now you are playing the best football of your career, and at 31, how are you able to feel like you're doing this when other guys are dropping off? And Brad, I'll have a quick follow-up too.
Honestly, I'm my worst critic, man. I'll leave a game thinking I didn't play that great. And it's happened over the past couple of games. Today, I know there were about 5 to 10 plays I wish I would have had back. I could have been better for my teammates, especially in the run game, in the pass game, and so on. So it's just it's nonstop having that mentality of wanting to get better and never being satisfied with that. I guess just right now, as we're rolling as an offense, it's just been very fortunate that I've been able to help out the team the way I have in the receiving game, and hopefully going forward that stays true. And I'll be there every single time my numbers dialed up.
And just before halftime, you had that big catch down the right side and had an absolutely textbook stiff arm. I'm just curious, what was kind of going through your mind on that play?
Well, he was gloved on me, man. He started off playing pretty good leverage in terms of the route that I had to run, which is an out-breaking route. I tried to fake him inside, and he got a pretty good grip on me. And I don't know, I was like a crazy person in a straitjacket, man, just trying to get him off me, I guess, at that point. But yeah, just we talk about situational football all the time here, and before the half, and trying to get points before the half is part of that situational football that we harp on, and knowing how much time is on the clock, how many timeouts we have, and what we have to do. I knew that I had to fight my tail off to get out of bounds in that situation.
We'll go last to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Travis, we heard from Tyron that the defense wants to keep, the opponent to 70 points or less. 16 points tonight. What do you appreciate most about seeing the other side of the football when they're performing?
Just fighting, man. Just fight. Just the hunger, the momentum that they bring week in, week out. We feed off of that. Especially when the front guys stuff the run, you get the secondary guys breaking up passes, intercepting passes. Obviously, the Badger had 2 tonight, which got everybody fired up. And we just, we feed off of each other. And this is, like I've said it a million times, man, the guys in this room are why we're so successful. We have so many guys that want to show up every single morning and get better and play their tail off for the guy next to them. And it's just, it's such a blessing to have coming into work every day, enjoying what you're doing.
Okay, Harrison, can you hear us okay?
Yep.
Beautiful. All right, well, let's get started. We'll start first with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Harrison, congrats on the win. As you think back to this season and LA followed by some of the struggles, how sweet was the kick tonight when it did feel a little bit like the momentum was changing, but you sort of were able to shut that down with the field goal and then the other success on the night as well?
Yeah, it felt great. As a kicker, you want to be in those situations at the end of the game where your kick matters. It was a pressure kick, and I'm just happy it went through. Our line did a great job blocking, and obviously James Winchester and Tommy, were awesome as always. So definitely a good feeling, and just gonna continue to kick strong going into the end of the season and into playoffs.
Let's go next to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Harrison, obviously throughout the season, there was a little part in the season where you were having, you were missing extra points and field goals. What do you think that it was that you were able to work on or get the kinks out to where, like, the last few weeks, you've been pretty much solid money, especially tonight going 5 for 5?
I think one thing I had to focus on was making sure my B and my C balls were still going through. I knew I had a great A ball, but if my swing was all about timing and, I could either hit a great ball or maybe a ball that I pulled left or pushed right, that's not a good thing. So I really tried to focus on being as consistent as I can, maybe not swinging my leg quite as hard and going back to the fundamentals and doing what I know I need to do to put that ball through the uprights. So I think it was just maybe trying to hone in and say my miss hits still need to be going through the uprights. And, I was just working every day as hard as I could to get better and improve. And as I said earlier, we got these next couple of games left before we get to the playoffs. And, I'm just going to continue to work to be my best.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Harrison, I'm just curious, when you're evaluating your performance tonight, what was your most difficult kick, in your opinion? How did you approach it?
Most difficult kick was probably the 48-yarder. The other kicks were shorter kicks, a couple inside 30, 31, and 35, I think. And then, I'd say the 48-yarder was the hardest kick, but probably most proud of the tackle on the kickoff. I would have liked to put it a little bit deeper around goal line area and maybe higher hang time. But to be a kicker and to know that the returner probably isn't going to give you a lot of respect and to still be able to make that tackle, I was just happy to be able to do that. And I think that was my first career form tackle. The other ones might have been just pushing them out of bounds or something, and that probably includes college as well. So I'm probably the most proud of that for the night.
Let's go next to Len Jennings. Go ahead, Len.
Hey, Harrison, it looked like the first attempt at the end, it looked like there may have been a smidgen of time on the play clock. I didn't know if you felt like the referees got that call wrong. And then how quick, because you looked like you had an expression, but how quickly, even if they got it wrong, if you felt like they got it wrong, did you have to kind of get your mindset back on track?
Yeah, I haven't seen the film, so I don't know where the play clock was at. We've practiced that a ton where we need to just take the clock down and snap it with just a couple seconds left and get it off and make the kick, obviously. So it was unfortunate that we had the delay of game call. 48-yarder from 43-yarder obviously makes it a little bit more difficult, but similar to that Chargers game, when you have the kind of warm-up kick, you feel a little bit more confident for the next one. I'm glad Coach Reed and Coach Tobe felt confident with me kicking that ball, the 48-yarder and not maybe punting it for field position. So when I knew they had the confidence in me, that meant a lot as well. But to have that 43-yarder, to have that practice kick, definitely helped to assess how my technique was going into that second kick, the 48-yarder.